How can you talk about 16 years of waste when you talk about the years when the onshore and offshore dichotomy, the 13% derivation, was deepened under the PDP government? And we brought about the peace that Nigerians enjoy today in the Niger Delta. When President Yar'Adua came to power, we had problems of Niger Delta militants. He created the amnesty program that brought about the peace we have today in Niger Delta. How can anybody talk about Nigeria and talk about 16 years when our GDP became the biggest economy in Africa, when our country was reputed to be growing at 6 to 7% annual growth in the economy? The economy we handed over to the APC was a very strong economy. Low debt compared to any country in Africa. We had one of the lowest debt ratios. We handed over foreign reserves of over 30 billion US dollars. We handed over to the biggest economy in Africa. What did the APC do? They shut down that economy. They destroyed that economy. By 6 months of prevarication in appointing ministers, foreign investors took flight. In less than 6 months of not making up their mind how much we should pay for the foreign exchange, in trying to control the foreign exchange in Nigeria, it led us to what we now have today, the dual foreign exchange rate that we have. And worse than that, we come into the situation now where we have a problem with the foreign exchange market. When the government took over in 2015, 6 months of inaction about the foreign exchange led to the naira falling all the way to 500 naira to the dollar. Just because the government in its illiteracy did not understand the problem of exchange rates and how to solve it when you have decreased income, revenues. So if you look at what we have today in Nigeria, this government have squandered the goodwill, has squandered the capital that PDP provided it. As at the time they took over, the Kaduna-Abuja Railway project was 80% completed. The airport projects, the 4 airports, were almost at their 70-80% completion rates. And today, when you look at what the government have done in the 3 years, is inability to build a national consensus, is inability to prepare a clear economic pathway to solving Nigerians' problem, is inability to secure Nigerians, to create security for Nigerians, you will see that the 16 years of PDP remains a glorious moment for Nigeria. Many of them will say the revenues that PDP got. If you look at the revenues PDP got, from a low base of about $12 per barrel in 1999 to when it got to 100 in about 2012-13, in between those years, if you annualize the revenues, PDP had an average $58 per barrel. This government came to power at $30-something per barrel oil and have sold all the way to $60. If you annualize it, I'm sure they are somewhere around $50 per barrel. So they have no excuse for all the myriad of excuses they are giving about Nigeria. It is lack of clear, coherent plan on how to run Nigeria. So the PDP 16 years are glorious years of Nigeria, when many Nigerians left the poverty trap and went into the middle class. When many Nigerians in diaspora actually came back to Nigeria to work in Nigeria. When Nigeria became an attractive destination for foreign direct investment. Today, Nigeria has gone out of the JP Morgan credit rating. We are off of all the major ratings in the world that will have allowed for inflow of foreign direct investment. It was in the 16 years that we went to 400,000 lines. In all of the history of Nigeria, Nitel was able to produce 400,000 telephone lines and less than 100,000 cell phone lines. And today we're talking about 80 million lines with data that is comparable to data anywhere in the world. So Nigerians the creativity of Nigerians have been unleashed, whether it's in the social media, in online sales, in logistics, in healthcare. Nigerians are now getting the benefits of the global economy. Today in Nigeria, you can sit here and order things from Costco in America, from Macy's shop, from shops in the UK, from shops in Russia. You can place the order from your phone. That is the power of the revolution that PDP caused in Nigeria. So when Nigerians talk about the 16 years, I think it's a distraction. What we need to talk about, in the last 3 years, are you better off than you were before Pariah came to power? Do you feel more secured? NOI polls went to ask Nigerians, do you feel more secured? 65% of Nigerians said no, they feel insecure. And the highest numbers were in the northwest and in the northeast. The people that feel most secured in Nigeria, in the southeast and in the south-south, despite appointing all the security chiefs from the north, they haven't been able to deliver security to their people. So it is important that we frame the issues very well. And that issue is, are you better off today than you were 4 years ago? And the answer from most Nigerians is a loud no. They are not better off today than they were 4 years ago. And they need to see a change in their life.